WBXO Classic Rock Redefined, a special edition on the Pat Show today. An honor to have on our rock and roll phone, well, singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist. He's got a solo career going on. Oh, and by the way, he's a key member of Hall & Oates band. Yeah, gotta love that. We got to say hello to Eliot Lewis. Eliot, what's going on today?
I'm doing great. Happy to be with you guys today.
Awesome. Eliot has released a new CD album out called Adventure, and it's I've been playing the tracks, and it's really a laid-back, cool, loving album. You know, radio-friendly. I can play all the tracks. It's got a really good groove to it. I get a little rock, funk, and soul, a little classic rock, kind of close to that Hall & Oates kind of great sound, would you say?
Yeah, you know, it's a culmination of all the stuff I love and grew up with, and you know, try to carry the torch and move it forward. That kind of classic rock sound that I love.
Yeah, no, all good stuff. And looking at my notes, you have mastered 4 instruments and probably maybe more over the course of your career. I see guitar, keyboard, bass, and drums, and I saw your first love was really drums, right? Is that how you started off?
Yeah, that's exactly how I started. At about 10 years old, I discovered the drums, and it was one of those light bulb moments. I was like, well, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
Nothing wrong with that. I see 13 years with the incredible Average White Band. Left in 2002 to focus on your own music, but then a year later, you get this phone call from a guy named Daryl Hall. What was that like?
Well, it wasn't actually a total shock because, as you said, I was with Average White Band for years, and the bass player in Average White Band and Daryl had been friends since the 70s.
Okay.
So Daryl was sort of part of that camp I was with Average White Band. He would come and sit in with us from time to time, and so we knew each other. And at one point during the last couple of years I was in that band, Daryl kind of approached me at some point and said, "Hey, I really want you in my band in Hall & Oates." I had to wait a few years because I wasn't going to just jump and do that. So I had to kind of like let it run its course. So I did that, as you said, and I took a year or two and just focused on my own career. And then, they contacted me and I got pulled back in.
Oh, wow.
Hard to say no to Hall & Oates, and all that it entails, because that ultimately led into me being like really the first musician on the Daryl's House show.
Yeah.
So that just opened up everything, and it's just been the most amazing situation.
I was going to say, you got to pinch yourself every day having this opportunity to play in that incredible band.
I do. It's amazing, being around great musicians. And, just the fact that I have worked now with so many people, not only new and up-and-coming contemporary artists, but people that I grew up listening to. And, some of my heroes, Cheap Trick and Billy Gibbons and Joe Walsh and on and on. So it's been amazing.
You and me got something in common, because since I got into this radio station and in the independents, and to have the honor to hang out with Billy, be his guest, and have dinner with Joe Walsh, and hang out with the Cheap Trick guys, I'm living my dream. But on the other side of the board, by promoting and playing a lot of their new stuff. Let's talk about this great album, Adventure. 11 tracks, 10 originals, and then you cover the great band Company's Ready for Love. And I read, your main inspiration from any of your albums is conveyed to these little slices of life. Most of my songs are written about my own experiences and situations, pretty much, right? I mean, that's where it comes down to.
Yeah, I it's just my own sort of take on what we do as songwriters. But, I try to deviate away from the more common, romance, boy meets girl kind of songs, and write about stuff that was a little bit different. You mentioned Soundtrack earlier, and that's a song in particular. It's a concept that I've had for years about, how powerful music can be. If you hear a song you haven't heard in a long time and you hear it, all of a sudden it transports you right back to a particular time in your life, or it can remind you of a person or a place. And I think writing about that stuff is a little bit more, interesting for me anyway.
Yeah, no, it's a great tune. I mean, it's radio friendly. You could remember almost, you can remember the lyrics if you play it long enough. I love the video and all the cameos of everybody. Even even Crusade. I mean, Crusade. Even with that video, the store. I like reading into the songs and trying to get the message out, getting it done in the long run, pretty much, even the folks that you had in that video doing what they need to do to get it done. And it's a great story. It's a great song.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, a lot of my songs definitely have, a little bit of a message. Some are more subtle than others. I don't like to beat people over the head with a message. It just, you sort of get out of it what you want to get out of it, And a lot of it is just, I've had an amazing life, an amazing journey. So my lyrics and concepts tend to be more optimistic and positive.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I like Tattoo. It's upbeat. Wear your tattoo. I can't get enough of you. I love that. Smile. Nothing to say. It kind of gives me like a Hall & Oates feeling. Evolution. All we need is an evolution. I think, one of my favorites in the whole album and is the beautiful love song. It's a ballad. History. Really, there's something about that song that it's like, wow. That's really cool.
Thank you.
No, that's really cool. I mean, not that I don't like ballads, but it's a pretty romantic, beautiful love song. I got to say that to you.
Thank you very much. And you can probably tell there's a tiny bit of some country overtones in some of the songs. And that really just kind of came out of nowhere. It kind of came out naturally. Like there's a song called Smile as well that's got a little bit of that, So it's some variety there.
Now, what was the recording process like? Now, you're covering all the instruments, the backup vocal. I mean, how long of a process did it take to, complete Adventure?
Well, once I have everything written and sort of constructed, the actual process of recording is pretty quick for me because I'm self-contained. I play all the instruments. The only other person involved in the recording was my background singer, Dee Sawyer, who did a great job on a lot of tracks. So once everything is written and constructed, I can record it pretty quickly. A typical record like that probably took me about 2 months.
Wow.
From start to finish. Now, some of those songs were already existing on other EPs and stuff. So
yes, I did see that.
Yeah, when I got the offer, and I wasn't trying to get a record deal at all. I was kind of doing things independently, like a lot of us do. And then they sort of approached me out of nowhere. So it was great to have more major distribution behind this. And they were really the ones that said, hey, you kind of remind us of vintage Bad Company. Your stuff is kind of stripped down, and I was like, well, I love Bad Company, and it's a huge compliment. So they suggested, hey, you want to do a Bad Company cover?
Wow.
So I think they came up with another song, but then I went through their catalog and then found that song, and I just had to do that. It's such an amazing song, Ready for Love.
And I think it really fits with all your tracks, with the whole message of Adventure. Like I said, I get listening to Adventure, the laid back, cool, loving, a whole soundtrack, and it's a real. I mean, Ready for Love is certainly better than like Shooting Star or something like that. But yeah, no, it fits. I think it fits. I think it's great.
Oh, cool. I'm glad you like it.
We're honored to have Eliot Lewis on our rock and roll phone. He's certainly he's a member of the great Hall & Oates band. He's got a great solo career starting out. Album is called Adventure, but he's also an accomplished photographer. And I see that Eliot is certainly taking pictures, documenting his travels all over the world. And Wow. I mean, really cool shots. I mean, I can't, I go to a show, Eliot, I'm lucky to get a picture of you guys, or the lighting, it's this, it's that. Any tips for a guy like me? It's really, is it about the lighting, the filter?
Yeah, the actual art of photography is all about that. It's all about lighting and the subject matter, of course, and just getting the right moment. And so it's a real different thing, looking at the world as a photographer, you look at details more. Real photographers look at details, and they can find a picture in almost anything. And it started out as a hobby for me, and it's something I've always loved. It sort of goes along with music for me naturally. And then when I started touring really professionally with Average White Band, I wanted to document it. So that's how that started. And I started doing something kind of, I thought, unique at the time, and it was just for me, was taking, after we finished our show, at the end of our show, taking a picture of the audience.
Right.
To sort of document it. And then years later, I saw, when Facebook came about, somebody posted a picture of an audience from the stage perspective, and I thought, I used to do that all the time just for myself. And Daryl had seen some of my photography. He asked me to start shooting Hall & Oates, and I told him about that, and he said, yeah, go for it, and shoot the audience every show. So it sort of became a little tradition for me.
Nah, it's great. Go ahead.
But it's fun. Yeah, it's fun stuff.
And one of your shots, if I read correctly, was used as a CD cover for Hall & Oates, right?
Yeah, I did. When I first joined them, like I said, Daryl asked me to start shooting them, so one of my shots became their record cover, and then I shot a back cover for Daryl's solo record. And then I think one of John's records, maybe it was an import for Japan or something, was one of my shots. So, and I've done a lot of their press photos just because I've been with them and have my camera, ready. So,
yeah, well, it makes sense. I mean, you travel all over the world. Don't we always take pictures? And then here you're doing it anyway, so why not?
Yeah, exactly.
I love your photos of beauty 1 through 4. I gotta say that. I'm happily married, but I don't think I can get. My wife doesn't like to get her picture taken. And if I said to her, "Hey, we're in Toronto. Sit on the windowsill and give me a little flirtatious shot," I've got to get a pillow thrown at me. But the pictures are gorgeous. They're stunning. They're simple. They're great. So what's in store for Eliot Lewis in 2019?
Well, believe it or not, this adventure record is very new and recent, but I have a whole other record that I'll be releasing very shortly. Just because I have such a backlog of material and we're writing new stuff constantly. So I'll get another record out fairly soon, and a lot of touring I'm setting up for next year. I'll be doing some more stuff with Hall & Oates, but probably a lot more solo. And, making my way around the country more than I've been able to because I've been touring so much with Hall & Oates. We had a crazy busy year touring with Train. Which is great, but I'll be focusing a little bit more on my own stuff this coming year.
Well, excellent. I hope don't forget me and get me a copy of that CD so we can listen to it and keep promoting you as much as possible. Your next show next Friday, December 14th, at the Tipping Chair in Milldale, Connecticut. And I looked it up, kind of just east of Waterbury, not too far of a ride for us over here. You can check out Eliot's website. It's EliotLewis.com, and sign up to get on his mailing list. He's on Facebook. Hit the like button. He's on Instagram. He's on Twitter. You got it all going on, my man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Love it.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our chat as much as I have, Eliot. Wishing you much success on this amazing album. I got to get you over here. Next time you're at the venue, please reach out to me and take a trip over to Mountain and Beekman. And I'm on Sunday nights. You pick out a Sunday in January or February. I'm on from 5 to 8. And we got a request hour from 7 to 8 from listeners from, Pauling to Connecticut all the way to Anchorage, Alaska. So we want to get your music out as much as possible.
Awesome. I would love to do that. And thanks so much again for the support.
Absolutely. Happy holidays, my man, and all the best for 2019. And looking forward to going to your shows and chatting with you and getting you to roll that dice.
Absolutely. Bring it on.
Okay, Eliot Lewis here on WBXO on the Pat Show. We are classic rock, and we are redefined.